The $50 million decision that killed Blockbuster, September 2000. Inside a small office in Los Gatos, California, a meeting takes place that will become one of the most infamous missed opportunities in business history. On one side of the table sits John Antioco, CEO of Blockbuster. Across from him sit Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, founders of a struggling DVD by mail startup called Netflix. At the time, the difference between the two companies couldn't have been bigger. Blockbuster was worth billions of dollars, operated thousands of stores, and dominated movie rentals across America. Netflix was small, unprofitable, and running out of options. The founders had come with a simple proposal: buy Netflix for $50 million. Blockbuster said no, and that decision would eventually cost them everything. Here's what makes this story so fascinating. Blockbuster didn't fail because they couldn't see Netflix coming. They saw it, they met with it, they evaluated it, and they chose to ignore it. The real question isn't why Blockbuster missed the future, it's why recognizing the future changed absolutely nothing. To understand that, you have to understand how Blockbuster actually made money. Most people assume the company made its profits from renting movies, but a huge portion of its earnings came from late fees. Customers forgot to return movies on time. Blockbuster charged penalties. Those penalties generated enormous profits. In other words, the thing customers hated most was helping keep the business alive. Its success depended on friction, and that's exactly where Netflix found its opportunity. According to the well known story, Reed Hastings became frustrated after being charged a large late fee for a rented movie. Instead of simply getting angry, he asked a different question: what if there were no due dates? What if there were no late fees? What if movies came directly to your home? Those questions became the foundation of Netflix. When Hastings and Mark Randolph launched the company in 1997, most people thought the idea was ridiculous. Why wait for a DVD in the mail when you could drive to a store and get a movie immediately? But Netflix wasn't focused on protecting an existing business, it was focused on eliminating customer frustration. And that difference changed everything. This is the hidden pattern behind many disruptive companies. The incumbent optimizes what makes money today, the disruptor optimizes what customers dislike today. Those goals often point in completely different directions, and the gap between them creates opportunity. By the year 2000, Netflix was struggling. The dot-com crash had made funding difficult. The company genuinely needed help. That's why the $50 million acquisition offer was real. It wasn't a clever negotiating tactic, it was a chance to survive. But from Blockbuster's perspective, Netflix looked insignificant. Customers could walk into a Blockbuster store and leave with a movie in minutes. Netflix required waiting days for a DVD to arrive. The future seemed obvious. Blockbuster believed convenience lived inside its stores, so they passed on the deal. Then technology started changing, internet speeds improved, consumer habits evolved, and Netflix kept growing. What began as a DVD by mail service slowly transformed into a global entertainment giant. Meanwhile, Blockbuster started losing ground. But here's the twist many people forget: Blockbuster actually had a second chance. In 2004, it launched Blockbuster Online. The company copied many of Netflix's best ideas. Late fees were reduced, subscribers began joining. For a moment, it looked like Blockbuster might successfully adapt. But removing late fees came at a cost. Profits fell, investors became nervous, leadership changed, and attention shifted back toward the traditional retail business. Just as the company started moving toward the future, it hesitated. Then Netflix made its next move: streaming. Suddenly, customers no longer had to wait for DVDs. No stores, no envelopes, no due dates, no late fees. Movies appeared instantly with the press of a button. The friction was gone, and so was Blockbuster's advantage. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Netflix continued growing into one of the most valuable entertainment companies in the world. Looking back, the lesson isn't that Blockbuster failed to see the future. The future was sitting right across the table from them. It introduced itself, it explained its vision, and it offered to sell itself for $50 million. Blockbuster said no. Not because they were stupid, not because they lacked resources, but because their business was built around protecting a system that the future was designed to eliminate. And that's the lesson every company should remember. The most dangerous threat isn't the one you can't see. It's the one you see clearly and still choose to ignore. Because sometimes the future doesn't arrive unexpectedly. Behind every hit and every miss is a decision. Hits and misses explores bold moves, risky bets, defining moments, and unexpected turning points in life. If you're interested in strategy, business, and human decisions that shape outcomes, don't forget to subscribe.